tonight today is a guest investigator with Cops Group, and we're here at the Elks Lodge here in Buckeye, Arizona, and you had some experiences. Can you kind of tell us about that a little bit?
In the smoking area lounge, did feel some tingles. Nothing didn't cause goosebumps, but I definitely felt something.
Like the presence of like a spirit?
Possibly. It didn't quite give the tingles, but I mean, it just felt thick.
Did your hair raise up or anything?
No.
So that happened with me, like when I got like serious goosebumps when I was on my arm. So we were in the back lounge area, the outside patio, and I had mentioned that I had like goosebumps when I was on my arm, felt like some kind of tingling sensation.
Yes.
And you had those similar experiences?
I had those on both arms, but nowhere else.
Now you've been on investigation with us. You're actually one of our investigators, so you've been on several investigations, and that's not something I've ever really heard you ever complain about. So that's something unusual for you, right?
Yeah, unusual for sure.
So what do you think? I mean, do you feel like that could have been possibly something supernatural?
It could have, or it could have just been maybe a static in the room, because it is a warm area with a lot of electricity running through it.
But you will say that this is something that doesn't normally happen to you?
Not normal.
Okay, cool. Did anyone else have any like crazy experiences with like that static charge electricity feeling?
I definitely felt a presence back there. And in fact, towards the corner end, I was kind of trying to focus in on something, and right at that same moment, you had just said that you saw something back there, and you were going back there at the same moment.
So you and I were kind of talking like amongst ourselves about like how you felt about what was going on here.
Yeah.
And we both kind of agreed that like I felt the same thing, and then you know, I'm not trying to say I'm a sensitive or I'm some kind of empath or some bullshit like that, but I really felt that like that nonstop energy behind the bar, and I had mentioned that like that it just feels like energy just sliding back and forth, and we had talked about how like you know you kind of felt something similar to that, right?
Yeah, I was with Jamie and Murray, and we kept hearing like someone was working back there, kind of like clinking, little footstep action. It was very slight, like you had to be really close to hear it, but it was enough to notice that someone was definitely doing something behind the bar.
Yeah, because you heard that stuff too, didn't you?
I heard the noise, but I felt more of a presence behind me, to be honest with you. It was like it just felt like there was a deep presence behind you, that there was like quite a few different people behind you.
Now I know I had an experience with some. Those are fabricated that you made yourself, the dowsing rods. Would you use copper?
Copper on one of them, and the other ones I'm not sure whether it's a copper blend or what.
Okay. So I was using those dowsing rods, and I was standing right there where you had them, and I kind of picked them up and like, oh, these must be the dowsing rods that you were talking about. And immediately they kind of like, and they shoot straight towards that jukebox. And I saw a shadow a little bit shorter than me, maybe like 5'5"-ish, and it was just there for a brief second, freaked me out. I kind of yelled like an idiot up here with everybody else and explained what I had actually seen. But did you guys had some experiences too back there? You in particular,
in the back room, and I felt like there was a very strong presence and had a lot of the static.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I can feel when there's spirit around. And you had caught in the left corner sort of a mist when I was back there, and I felt like a brief touch on the left side of my face. And I think after that happened is when the mist started to go away. The humming back there.
Were you back there?
I was back there
when we heard like the girl or something.
I heard it twice.
Yes, it did happen. No, it was before I got there.
But we heard like a female or something. It was like
I heard it twice.
Just I heard like 3 times, I think.
Yeah.
So, but we all did hear that back there. Okay, we can say we did that.
Patio room there. Whenever we go in there, when it was just 1, 2 people in there, I would get goosebumps and stuff. It just felt like there was a presence in there.
See, sometimes it's weird because like we've been on, like for example, Carl, you've been with us to the Buckeye jail a couple times now, I think, right? Now we and Jamie, the one that's filming us right now, like you, the Buckeye jail, like we had more activity during our group ghost hunts there than we do on our like actual. She's like, really? But we have more activity though with our group ghost hunts at the jail than we ever did going there by ourselves, right? I mean, what was the thing?
We did, yeah.
So, I mean, similar to here, like he's saying, like, you know, you have two people go back there. It's complete opposite here. You have two people go back there, you have more of a sensation, you know, so it's like hit or miss, you know what I mean?
Did you have any experiences while you were doing the flashlight?
While I was doing the flashlight, no, we couldn't get the flashlight to go off at all.
That's your first fail.
And there were a lot of people in there at that time as well.
Yeah, and then it dwindled down to where there were only 2 of us. It was Sam and I in there, and it still wouldn't go off. So.
Paul, did you have any experiences?
We picked up with the Ovilus. I asked if it was Jack, and I asked Jack, "Do you know you're dead?" And it came out, cleared the bill. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really did. And a few other things.
And that was on the Ovilus device?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the Ovilus, And a few other things. I asked what year it was. It really didn't respond to me too much. It did have a few things. I can't remember them all. Do you remember?
Something about, do you know how you died? And angina came up a few times. Syringe, stomach,
Stomach.
came up quite often.
You recording?
I think the best part of the Ovilus test was Paul had mentioned, you know, we just want to be your friend. Is it okay if we're your friends? And through Ovilus, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
so
that was
intelligent responses even with the Ovilus?
yes.
Okay, so what can we say, like, collectively, like, what do you guys think about the place? Do we think it's haunted? Do we think that if it is haunted, do we think it's, like, more of a residual energy that just plays itself over and over? Or do we think it's something more intelligent or something else?
There's definitely an intelligence here.
Yeah.
I mean, just with that Ovilus round, you know, hey, you know, do you want to be our friend? All right. You know, that was straight out, just real quick answer. Do you know you're dead? No. I mean, it was just.
It was quick.
Clear as a bell.
Clear as a bell as
It
well.
really was.
Yeah.
But just to respond right
And when I said
Sweet,
high
too.
five,
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. After we said, all right, you know, he's like, all right, and then he's like, sweet. You know, that was pretty cool. Her and I were in the room, or in the big room with the elk head, and I'm actually starting to get everything ready to try another room, and we get a 2-second, both K2s hit orange, and then drop back down to one green dot, and that was.
Was that to any kind of question, or did that just shot?
No, we were actually just sitting quietly. I was actually just putting stuff back on my pack and ready to strap that pack back on, and I was actually coming out here to do a spirit box, and then gave me a little hi, I'm here.
Personally, I have to say, I think that what's going on here is you have an Elks Lodge, and it's been here for a long time. And you have people that used to frequent this thing on a regular basis in life, and now they've passed away. And I really believe that Jack's here. Jack could be here. Who knows? It could be Jack, but it possibly could be somebody else. I mean, we're in a town with a ton of history. Below our feet right now is where they used to have the old skating rink. When the carnival would come into town and whatnot, they'd utilize it for a skating rink. So, I mean, how do we know we're not communicating with a child, maybe, or a young adult that used to frequent this, you know, area because of the carnival or the location or whatnot? There's just so much history here in the area that it's difficult to say, okay, this is Jack, unless Jack physically shows up and shakes her hand and says, hi, I am Jack. Does that make me discredit the story of the people that are telling me? No. I mean, they could be seeing is an image of a man, and then immediately they associate it with somebody that they wish was still alive.
We're not
And
the
that
ones
could be
coming
Jack.
in here every night after night. So just like anybody asks us about investigations, I mean, we're not the ones that come in here night after night after night. Just like anybody, we go to their home and do an investigation. I mean, we can't tell their house ain't, not haunted. So, I mean, those are those experiences, not ours.
It's like paranormal investigating can be, like, we always joke around and we say it amongst ourselves. When people finally come out to try an investigation, they're like, what the hell? Like, what do we do? This is what it is? Yeah. I mean, half the time of what we do is we're staring at walls watching paint dry. I mean, that's really what it is. We're observers, which we are. And we sit back and we try to observe small changes in areas. 2.5, 3, 4 hours in a location's not at all going to give us an idea of what the place is or is not haunted. It needs to be continual investigations done in that same area multiple times over, and then I believe you start to build a rapport with the spirit world, and they begin to start to communicate with you. That's not always the case. Sometimes you go somewhere, they're like Chatty Cathy, they want to talk to you like nuts. First time I went to Liberty Cemetery, dude, the freaking place was nuts. But it's a matter of, like, this is an Elks Lodge, and this is a members only club, meaning that, like, we're not Elks Lodge members and we're coming in here trying to talk to Elks Lodge people. They're probably like, what the hell? Just like the people that were in here earlier, as we were coming to set up, we're like, who the hell are these people? Why are they in my Elks Lodge? You know what I mean? So, I mean, and then the spirits here could be really feeling the same way, where they're kind of like, off, like, in the darkness, kind of just observing us as we're trying to observe them. So, I mean, that's kind of my interpretation, I guess, of the location.
Well, the first thing I seen was somebody walking in, and it was actually not a human being.
Yeah, you had the experience. They walked right through the freaking cooler.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was a cooler, actually. So.
Which, hell, that could have been a door at one point in time that just walked into that freaking garage area. So this thing could just be doing what it does all the time. And the reports that I'm generally getting here, that people are seeing stuff, it isn't anything of intelligence. It's something that's very residual, it seems. That's not really trying to communicate. Except for the noises and stuff like that. But that's generally associated with residual anyway, something moving around.
So you're sort of suggesting that we're getting some intelligence and
I think that there's an element of intelligence
residual
to it, yeah. I think that the majority of the energy that you're getting here is probably more of a residual thing. But I think, again, we're not Elks Lodge members. Marie and I are going to become Elks Lodge members by the next time we come here. So we can determine whether or not being an Elks Lodge member changes how they communicate with us. I'm going straight to hell, dude.
What's there?
That freaks me out.
It says reserve Jack
You should get a video of that.
1928 to 2001.
Yeah,
Get that.
Good job.
that's reserved for Jack.
And
Why are you sending
I'm like
Jack?
the one guy that goes to sit there. It's like the one chair that's available. Everyone's like, I'm not sitting there.
It was just, we all sat where we sat, man.